Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Yeah, I'm gonna be counting the days into Schneider is caught. When that happens, anyone who's watching, because I've been talking about cake and stuff like that on GH. So, for days, I want to do something different. I want to do something a little bit more special. Um, so I want to do a wine party. Because this guy, listen, if you ever worked in retail, you ever actually had to sit there and deal with a Schneider? I think his name is Clay Schneider. If you ever actually had to deal with a man like that, you know exactly how much that sucks. And this guy is a dick. So when he gets caught, and all his dirty secrets, everything, he goes down, I want us all to give a toast, wine, or any other drink that you prefer, to the demise of this character, because yeah. So let's talk about Chanel real quick, because not a lot here's the thing, not a lot actually happened with this episode. It wasn't a terrible episode, but it was kind of like kind of a middle of the road episode, sort of. And to be honest, days actually haven't been good so far. It actually has been good. And this one is just like, But let's talk about Chanel real quick. So Chanel is, well, first of all, once again, I don't understand Eli to some extent. He knows that Chanel does live there temporarily. And, he has this whole thing, which I don't understand. So he's in his towel, right? And he spills his coffee. He can't find, like, the paper towels or whatever, so he uses the towel. I'm just like, bro, why are you walking around this house half naked, knowing that Chanel, granted, Chanel overslept or whatever, so she woke up and she looked and, leered. And, again, I want to sit there and point out something that Lonnie said. Listen, there was one point where Lonnie was just irritating the whole life out of me, and I think we all know what I'm talking about. But Lonnie said something that was really interesting as far as, like, objectifying men, and, like, how would she feel? It's kind of like, it's wrong. To an extent. It's wrong, but people are human. So it's kind of like a balancing act or whatever. But the point is, watching Chanel really, like, pretty much have eye sex with Eli. I look at that situation, I think if it was in reverse, I'm pretty sure there would have been so many people, so many women that would be like, oh, he's a pig, he's this, he's that, he's the third or whatever. And it's just like, so I guess it's cool only when women do it, right? I found that pretty interesting, when I was sitting there watching, and I was sitting there thinking about what Lonnie said. But with that being said, Eli gets kind of upset. He's like, oh, I thought you were like, I thought you were gone, with Abe or whatever. And I'm like, bro, even if she was gone, there's a good chance she could have came back at some point in time. Maybe you should think about putting on some clothes. Like, if it's you and your wife, that's cool. Y'all can do whatever. But, like, come on, seriously, bro? So at one point I was like, bro, yeah, as much as I don't like this woman, you can't really, like, put all this on her. But with that being said, Chanel, shows, well, she talks about her, her business and everything like that. And one of the things Eli was saying that, well, first year businesses sometimes fail, so, you got any backup, any money or anything like that, like what you got going on. And, Chanel was talking about how she doesn't want to take from her mother. She doesn't want to disappoint her mother or whatever. So they get into that talk. Gets her to open up, almost actually makes her look like a human being. And then Chanel, she shows Eli the plan, the stuff that she got going on as far as, her ideas for, for a new business. And Eli seems like he's pretty impressed by it, So this they're looking at the book or whatever, And Lonnie walks in. Uh, I was the look on her face. She had that look like did we not just have this conversation before? About you being all layering my husband and everything like that, and and it's like she walks in and she sees it and she's like she has that look, that look that just. Well, let's put it this way: when a woman actually gives that look, it is just scary as hell. And she walked in there, and Eli was like, "Yo, she got some really great ideas. You should sit there and take a look. And Lonnie was like, "Well, I would, but there's no space." And Chanel scooted over a little bit, but she didn't have that look like she was too concerned. She just had that look like, "Oops, oopsie daisy. I just happen to be way too close to your half-naked husband, but oopsies." I, here's the thing. I really thought that she was gonna lay into her. I'm still waiting for that to happen. But she just has that look like, oh, me, just my quirky personality. It's like, no, sweetheart, you just are stupid, or like you just give no F's about your cousin and how she feels about you constantly sitting there either having eye sex with her husband or just being way too damn close. And the amazing thing is, like, I'm pretty sure you just had that conversation, but okay, sure. So I'm sitting there thinking the next scene, we're going to sit there and see Lonnie really go into Chanel once again, but somehow that doesn't happen. It's almost just like she just stuck her hand in a cookie jar and didn't even get a slap on the wrist for it. But she comes over to Paulina's place and she sees the book, the book that Paulina left as far as like her her business plan for the town square. I'm sitting there thinking, Paulina has been having this look, having this attitude that she's going to be doing something that's going to be either bad, nefarious, or something to do as far as double-crossing Abe. Whatever it is, these plans don't seem like they're on the up and up. Now, granted, she did sit there and set her quote-unquote fancy alarm, which didn't do a damn thing because, Chanel just pretty much just opened the door and walked right on in. I'm sitting there thinking, if I have, like, let's say, evil, bad plans, I'm not just going to leave it on my bed for anyone to just walk in and find it. No. Listen, I would hide my plans. I would hide my evil plans, like when I was younger, and I hide my porn. And in a place where no one can find it, and at some point, I may not be able to find it. I mean, she just left it on the desk like... But yes, no, just hide your stuff like you hide your dirty movies. You don't just leave it in plain sight. What the hell is the matter with you? So yeah, she's sitting there looking, and to be honest, I sitting there thinking, like, does she even know what she's looking for? Like, she's just looking at it, and it just seems all very slim piss. It just seems like it's just like either she doesn't understand what she's looking at, or she hasn't found anything that's like bad yet. But I guess maybe we'll find out in the next episode. Now let's talk about Trip and Allie for a minute, because I couldn't understand why Allie kept sitting there giving Trip like the cold shoulder. First, she pushes back on the kiss, and I'm sitting there thinking, does it have something to do with does it have something to do with Chanel? Maybe she's into her. Maybe she, she's into girls now, We don't know what's going on in her head, except for the fact that every couple of seconds or every other episode, it seems she's sitting there thinking about that kiss. So, she's leaving, and Trip catches her, and Trip's like, hey, maybe we should hang out and do dinner or whatever. And, Allie's like, yeah, I don't know, text me or whatever. And she just walks off. And Trip is just like, what is going on? So she talks to he talks to Kayla, and, they both kind of agree that maybe because of what happened with Charlie, that she's just not ready to get intimate. And just the bottom line, I mean, granted, they go through this whole, with Ciara and how he dealt with Ciara and stuff like that. And the whole thing really just came down to time, you know. All he can really do is sit there and be patient and give her time, give her space, respect her, and, you know, be with her when she wants and know when to step away when she's not ready. That's pretty much the moral of the story on that front. Now, Allie comes to see Marlena, which she tells, she's on the phone with someone, and Bella apparently got cleared the charges, and so she's back home, so, that's cool. Oh, why is I'm damn thirsty now? But yeah, she's cleared the charges or whatever. Allie comes in, and Allie talks to Marlena about how, she's acting with Trip, and, the fact that, every time that she thinks about getting intimate with someone, or at least intimate with Trip, she thinks about Charlie. Now with Chanel, it's a little bit different. So, at one point, Allie sits there and talks about the kiss, and, I don't remember if Marlena's like, I don't know if Marlene's like, what does that mean? Like, do you, like, and you and the girls or anything like that? But she brings up the kiss. And the whole point of it is that, Allie, it's not that, well, I don't know if Allie feels bad, but, like, Allie's like, he's not doing anything wrong, and it's not him, it's just me, even though I want to, I just really can't. And I think Marlene's just like, you just gotta give it time. Give it time. When you're ready, you're ready. So she just comes over there for some advice. She gets the advice. She talks to Trip again, and she's like, hey, listen, I'm sorry. And Trip is like, yo, listen, I already know. Whenever you're ready or you're not ready, we'll go at this at your speed. And, that's when Allie agrees to go out to dinner with Trip and, I guess, see what happens. Now, once again, we got Xander, we got Gwen, and Xander's sitting there asking, like, what are these pills for? Who is this person? Because finally, Gwen is like, I'm being blackmailed by someone, but, the point is, Xander asks, what's going on? Who is this guy? Can I help? Is this going to fall back on Jack? And, once again, Gwen does not give any answers. She's keeping this close to the vest. I think today she actually said that she was being blackmailed, but she didn't say by who. So Xander's like, alright, listen, I'm not going to sit there and say anything right now. I just don't want this to fall back on Jack. And Schneider calls up Gwen, and Schneider's like, so listen, I had a delivery that was long overdue, and since you didn't, deliver it, I had to tell you a secret. And, Gwen is like, no, I'll get it done. I'm just like, Gwen, what took you so long to get it done the first time? What are you doing? I don't understand this. I mean, listen, this whole thing is really stupid because all Gwen has to do is tell the truth. Of course, she's not going to tell the truth, so I was like, okay, if you're not going to tell the truth, then why don't you just deliver said items, and this way you can keep them off your back from exposing your secret that you should have probably told them a long time ago. But she's all like, oh, well, I'll do it, Schneider, whatever. Now, Xander's listening. Xander overhears the fact that it's Schneider, because Xander was like, yo, listen, I'll help you out. I'll take care of it. What do you need me to do? So now that he knows who it is, he goes to the hospital, and he goes to the hospital, and he sees Schneider, and so, like, he's pretending to be a patient, and I guess we're gonna find out maybe tomorrow, how that scene unfolds. Oh, I also forgot. So, when Kayla and Trip were sitting there talking, and Kayla's sitting there giving advice about Allie, Schneider comes over, and Schneider's like, hey, listen, your breaks is too long, and, I understand that, you're the stepson's you're the stepson's, pretty much he's just like, yo, listen, I know you know Kayla and everything like that, but that doesn't give you special privileges and stuff like that, and you can't be sitting there just taking breaks when you want, and you're scheduled to watch someone or whatever, or something like that. And Tripp is like, hey, listen, I'm not supposed to sit there and like shadow her for like another half an hour. And Snyder's like, oh well, just make sure you're not late. I'm like, bro, what the hell is wrong with you? First of all, I don't know how I would have reacted in that situation. I really don't. I think I know I would have probably did things a lot differently, obviously. But the fact that he came, here's the thing, he came at Tripp with nothing, you know? He wasn't even supposed to be on duty to shadow someone until a half an hour. So that whole block of time, unless he was supposed to be doing something else, it was kind of like his off time. So, like, what did you come at him for? And he just made himself look really bad in front of the chief of staff. He does that and he walks off and she's like, she has that look like, yo, this dude should have been fired like years ago. And that's when Tripp was like, hey, listen, I don't care what he says to me, but when he talks about the patients, he brings up the whole Gwen thing and how, it just felt awkward, like Dr. Snyder was not trying to force Gwen to do something that she didn't want to do. And with that being said, Kayla's like, really? Because, at this point, she's just looking for an excuse to sit there and fire this man because, well, he's a dick. So, yeah, Kayla winds up coming over Jack's place and talk to Gwen. And at first, Gwen is like, hey, listen, Jack isn't here. And, Kayla's like, no, I'm here to talk to you. And she's like, about what? I'm like, about Dr. Snyder. Now, at this point, we all know that Gwen is going to sit there and try to stonewall. She's going to sit there and try to stonewall. Kayla's going to sit there and suspect something, but probably not have, she's not going to really give her much of anything. And pretty much she's just going to sit there and say, hey, listen, whatever it is, I'll help you out. Even though we all know that Kayla does not like Gwen. And to be fair, she has every right to not like her. So I can't even sit there and blame her feelings because we all know how hard I was sitting there going on Gwen. And I do not take any of that back. I really don't. And I think the last scene is with Paulina and Abe. And, they're talking about the square, they're talking about the twins and everything like that. Now, at some point, Abe is like, hey, listen, Chanel turned in an application and it got approved and, she's pretty much all good to go as far as starting her business. Now, Paulina's like, hey, listen, I don't think it's a good idea. And she starts trying to, list all the reasons of why Abe should not give her a chance. Because whatever Paulina's plan is, she doesn't want it to sit there and touch Chanel. But, she's like, oh, well, she's really lazy. She doesn't like to wake up early in the morning. And by the way, Abe was sitting there talking to Lonnie for a little bit. Nothing really too important except for Chanel, and she pretty much kind of wants her to be gone, like yesterday, because, twins, husband, and another adult, and that house, no, it's just way too small. So they have their little brunch or whatever. But yeah, Paulina's sitting there trying to talk Abe out of making sure that she does not be able to start a business. Oh, she's lazy. She's very, flip-flop. One minute she's into this, one minute she's into that. And after a while, Abe was like, so let's start this again. Why don't you tell me the real reason why you don't want her to actually, start a business? Because clearly this is making no sense, since I'm pretty sure you probably said something along the lines of, be on your own 2 feet, get a job, yada, 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 and she's just, so none of this stuff doesn't track. So what's going on? And that's when Pauline's like, oh, I just don't want to see her get hurt, she's inexperienced, yada, yada, yada. But, once again, Abe being the voice of reason, it's like, no, they're children, they're gonna learn, they're gonna grow, they're gonna fail, and they're gonna be a lot smarter and a lot more determined to sit there and try again. And so, because Abe just had all that logic going on, and, Paulina, listen, she tried to sit there and lie and try to give a good convincing speech of why Chanel should not be an owner of her, business, but it didn't track. And I think she kind of realized that the majority of her way through, and so she's like, all right, yeah, fine, I guess we're going to sit there and, I guess I got to let her fail on her own 2 feet. Whatever this plan is, she does not want Chanel to be involved. And I'm just wondering what kind of creative ways is she going to sit there and try to come up with as far as making sure that she does not get involved. Because that should be interesting. Yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, not terrible. Wasn't exactly the greatest episode. And sometimes when I actually have episodes like this or like a GH or whatever, I'm always thinking like, was I really bad in this review today, or did the episode was just not great? Then I realized the episode is just not great. But I'm pretty sure tomorrow and probably the next couple of days gonna sit there and start to heat up, because again, days have actually been pretty good. So whatever this package is, Gwen better sit there and deliver it. Or otherwise, Schneider will sit there and tell Jack, and Jack will sit there and not like her. And what is Jack gonna sit there and do? Kick her out? Well, I guess he can, but I'm not gonna lie. I think I've been talk ad nauseum as far as like just how stupid this whole thing is, for just so many different reasons. But this is the storyline that they're going with, and in some alternate universe, this is supposed to make sense. All I know is that EG is actually coming to town. I cannot wait for that to happen. I'm looking forward to it. Also, one last thing I'm going to sit there and say, and this is nothing really too crazy or anything like that, but if you are a fan of Chad's character, or like the actor that plays Chad, I think his name is Billy something. He did a interview, like a sit down or whatever, about mental health and just acting and stuff like that, with Maurice Bernard, called State of Mind. I'm actually gonna sit there and try to finish watching that tomorrow, because it was actually really good. So it's on YouTube. Definitely check it out. I'm probably gonna sit there and try to leave the link at some point this week. I'm gonna try to do it today if I can sit there and try to find it. But yeah, I'm just gonna sit there and leave the link. So if you want, if you're a fan of the actor that plays Chad, definitely check it out. It's good. It touches on some stuff. I don't know, like mental health and stuff like that, and acting and stuff. So it seemed like it was pretty interesting. And Maurice Bernard, whenever he does these interviews with different soap stars and stuff like that, they're really good. So I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Be safe. Catch the next video. And thank you for watching yesterday. I know it came out super late.